Well, it's yet another great Wednesday evening right here on Ubuntu channel. Good evening and welcome to the program if you are just joining us this particular evening. Of course, as a pay tradition or pay Wednesday evening, we get to bring to you different guests, different people that get to talk about different issues that we get to look at right here on this very platform. If you are watching us for the very first time, we are saying you are welcome. We are glad that you are a part of this particular broadcast. We are Ubuntu channel and we are broadcasting on Facebook as well as YouTube. Not forgetting also on our Twitter page. Of course, I am your host, Lance Sani Banda, this evening taking you through this particular period as shortly Chaza will be able to join us on the program. Now, this evening, we are looking at something very pertinent, but before we get to talk about that, let me get to introduce my guest this particular evening. Of course, he is Chabu Chabu. This evening, I want to address him as a students' rights activist. Mr. Chabu, good evening. Of course, it seems like he isn't here yet, but hey, as we know that each and every person has gone through some tertiary education, and when we are there, we get to look at different issues or different things that get to attend to our affairs, that get to look at our school needs, and also we get to shape our future or our futures as far as it is concerned. So of course we have so many issues that we look at or that which we get to go through, and as citizens or as students, there's a lot of things that we get to analyze and probably get to. Comrade Chabu is here. Today, I'm calling you a student rights activist. Obviously, you know why. Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel.
Banda, thank you very much. And I like the name already, uh, which has been given to me for today. Yeah.
Well, perhaps it's something that you should consider, especially looking at the kind of works that you have done in the space of students and everything to do with that. But hey, this evening we are looking at the behavior of a student, especially this time around, looking at what transpired just some fortnights ago at the highest learning institution of the motherland. We're talking about the University of Zambia. You are a student, right? You've been engaging different different offices, political offices, students' offices, the dean's office, and everything to do with that. Bring us to speed as to the Unzasu elections. You've been very active on that particular front. Comrade Chabu, are you here? Well, it appears my guest is having some internet challenges here and there. But hey, we still urge you to say you can watch this particular live broadcast right here on Ubuntu channel. If you are joining us for the first time, we are saying thank you and welcome to Ubuntu channel. We love it that you have decided to make Ubuntu your channel of choice. Now, here is what you do. Make sure that you get to ask your friends and friends of your friends to subscribe to this particular channel, this YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the bell so that every time we are live, you are notified that Ubuntu channel is live. Of course, do the same for Facebook. Like and follow so that you can get all the updates that which you need to get right here on this particular channel, as we are not only a channel that broadcasts live, but we are a channel of choice. We bring to you different diverse news that which we get together from different aspects of life, different compounds, as well as getting to look at international news. And then also, do not forget that I Want to Channel brings you a variety of programs. So maybe just to get to run you through as we are waiting for our guests to come back on a Sunday, of course, at this time around, we get to bring to you Moment of Grace, where we have our dear sister that gets to bring to you different guests in the spiritual realm, or guests in that particular order, in that particular manner, trying to come through and feed you spiritually, and get to talk about the Bible and all the disciplines of a Christian nation. Comrade Chabu, welcome back. All right, so it appears that Comrade is facing some internet challenges or internet issues. Continuing with, just a block of programs that we have for you. So moving on from Sunday, on Monday we have what we call Lifestyle. Now on Lifestyle, this is a program that features different people that are either high, big, or low in society that just come through and get to talk about, their life experience, their lifestyle. You see them on TV, you watch them in videos. They come through to come and talk about what they eat, what they love cooking, how they love to hang out, how the kind of friends that they have, the kind of network which they network with, and everything just to do with the social aspect of them, despite them being people of great importance in society. Then, of course, on a Tuesday, we bring to you Let's Talk Politics. This is a political program that gets to feature different political guests. So, these guests that come through can belong to any political party. They come through and just talk or ponder on national issues, talk about what is trending, dissect it, analyze it, and then also preempt it and just put through their thoughts so that politically you can get updated with what is happening. Then on a Wednesday like this one, we bring to you the program which we call Meet Your Leaders. And of course, here on Meet Your Leaders, we get to bring to you different aspects of life. All right, so we bring to you activists, we bring to you politicians, we bring church leaders, society leaders, everybody who is a leader. We this program to talk about different leadership roles, different leadership issues, different roles that leaders play. It may be political, it may be social, it may be economical, it may be anything to do with having you meet your leaders. This is your program. And of course, on a Thursday, we get to bring to you, we take it light a little bit as we bring to you a program that gets to just talk about social life in general because all right, let me see if comrade, okay, so on Thursday we get to bring it down to social as we get to bring to you something exciting with evangelist Shabula, who takes to talk about marriage issues, relationship issues, scandals and stuff like that. It's social, but as much as it is social, it is great advice that is always given on this particular show on a Thursday, which is called Pansaka. All right, so all these programs they come or they start at 20 hours. So every day we have a program that is lined up for your social liking, for your political liking, for your lifestyle liking, for your Christianity liking, and everything to do with a social aspect of a human being. On a Friday, we light it up or more. So Thursday, since it's a light weekend or a light Friday, we light it up a little bit. Friday, we light it up to the max as the boys come and talk football right here. That is Ubuntu Sports. On Ubuntu Sports, the boys talk football, talk sports, they talk everything to do with the sporting fraternity. You want to know what's latest in tennis, badminton, golf, rugby, football, mention anything, they get to talk about it right here on Ubuntu channel. Then on a Saturday, Well, it's a weekend. What happens? We get to bring to you what we call trending stories. Now, these are stories that have trended from Monday to Friday or to Saturday. We get to bring them together and have you, our dear viewer, given a chance to come right into the studio and analyze that which trended, and you did not have a chance to voice it out. So you are given a chance right here on this channel on a Saturday at 20 hours to come through and get to add your voice to what trended. You want to talk about it, you want to express yourself, you want to express your opinion and everything. That's what we get to give to you right here. All right, now coming back to meet your leaders, looking at our guest is having a little bit of difficulty to join into the studio again. Let's get to go on a very short break. So in that break, we'll try to facilitate for the guests to come back in and talk about this great importance topic, because you and me equally want to know what led to the Unzasu elections cancellation. And apart from that, we want to know why the students did not opt for a dialogue with the government or with Unzasu and everybody. Why did they go to the streets and take it to the streets, destroying other people's vehicles and stuff like that? So we shall be talking about that right here on this very broadcast, and then also to hear it from student himself, who has been advocating for his fellow students, in terms of libraries, things to do with that and everything to do with that, as you can see. Instead of going on a break, looks like I have Comrade Chabu back. Comrade, are you back? Hmm. All right. My producer, if we can go on a break, and then let's see if we can have Comrade Chabu. Or Comrade Chabu, are you back? Are you able to hear me? My producer, let's go on a break. We'll be back on the other side as we get to bring.
Globally, 85% of infertility is because of infections, typically the chlamydia and the gonorrhea.
Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Since I've been mentioned, I can react to what comment mentioned.
Yes. I haven't finished my point.
Remember,
let me finish my point so that my brother can.
Does the Patriotic Front know the kind of damage they have done to our economy and to our country? I do not.
The alleged abduction of Pamela Chisupa, and this case has really kept us on our toes. And as much as
nobody has been acquitted from this new dawn administration cases that have been started. There's nobody that has been acquitted. Okay.
CJ, foreplay. I'm not talking about jump and begin acting like a kangaroo. No, foreplay. Many of us as Africans, we lack this virtue. This is not there.
Yeah, the time twaje ku Malabo was the first game twale tena wa Senegal. I think very tutasana underrated, because even the warm up, you can see the way they are doing warm up. Bale munakati bola na bawina kale nyo.
It's actually good if you start creating competition in the team. If you don't create competition, then you will have a problem who to replace when one is injured.
The names people have been calling me, I accepted them and I will stand them. But what I would prefer being called as a nickname, I would prefer being called Sambalung.
From it, we can't make the Bible fit us. And have things that make Esther feel good, and things that Esther doesn't really feel good about, she'll edit out.
We're trying to represent Zambia from a different side of things. We just don't want to be regular. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to package ourselves to Africa and the world.
Globally, 85% of infertility is because of infections, typically the chlamydia and the gonorrhea.
Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Since I've been mentioned, I can react to what comment Chinda just
Yes.
I haven't finished my point.
Remember,
No, let me finish my point so that my brother can.
Does the Patriotic Front know the kind of damage they have done to our economy and to our country? I do not.
The alleged abduction of Pamela Chisupa, and this case has really kept us on our toes. And as much as
nobody has been acquitted from this new dawn administration cases that have been started. There's nobody that has been acquitted. Okay?
CJ, foreplay. I'm not talking about jump and begin acting like a kangaroo. No, foreplay. Many of us as Africans, we lack this virtue. This is not there.
Yeah, the time twaje ku Malabo. Kwa sababu the first game twale tena wa Senegal. I think very tutasana underrated because even the warm up, you can see the way they are doing warm up. Bale munakati bola na bawina kale nyo.
It's actually good if you start creating competition in the team. If you don't create competition, then you will have a problem. Who to replace when one is injured.
The names people have.
All right, so definitely we are back, and we do really apologize for that long break. But hey, we are back, and definitely, hopefully, internet won't still be a barrier right here as we continue on our program this particular evening. Comrade Chabu, do I have you back? Looks like. Students, you should stop rioting. Even the internet is rioting on you.
Definitely. You can see that we have lost a lot of things as students and as a nation at large. You can see that we're even struggling just to access internet, which is really, really bad.
Well, you have put it in a rioting mode. It's also rioting, saying you gave us one, so here's one back.
Yeah, it's tough.
Anyway, you are a student. You have been fighting for students, especially when it comes to bursaries. You've always complained of the number being low. You've always advocated for the number to be raised. People have been left out of bursaries list. You've knocked on every government's office door to at least have it happen that those people that were left, at least the number is added. That has happened. It has gone in your way. Now you have gone kumbuyo kwa government just because anyway, maybe before I even say that, maybe bring us to speed with what is happening at the highest learning institute.
Okay, I should indicate that what happened yesterday, we need to be very categorical and also express the fact that that happened yesterday didn't represent the students from the University of Zambia, but it represented the outsiders, because we know the behavior of the students of Zambia when it comes to protest. And what we experienced yesterday, we can definitely say that that is not the behavior of the students of Zambia. And I should
Oh,
indicate that I should indicate, Mr. Banda, that everything that happened there, we need to follow it step by step. I will take you back. We're supposed to have Unzasu elections every year, but probably September, October. I think if it goes to the west, it's November. And this thing of protesting and rioting yesterday, on Monday rather, it came as a result of miscommunication and misinformation from different stakeholders. I'll give an example. The Electoral Commission of UNZA published a memo which didn't pass to the dean's office. Why am I saying that the memo didn't pass to the dean's office? Because it didn't have a signature from the dean. It didn't also have a date stamp from the dean. But I should also indicate that the Electoral Commissioner, it is a non-autonomous body that works independently to hold elections at the University of Zambia. So when that memo was published to say elections have been cancelled at the University of Zambia, the University of Zambia students didn't get it well. As a result, they had to do what they did on the Monday. I should indicate that when that was happening, like things started like a joke. We were at Prime TV on the big debate with Mr. Frank there, and we just saw the memo has been published. Few time later, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we started experiencing in some videos where they were burning tires and all that. But what surprises me, or what surprises the other students and the University of Zambia management, it is the manner in which students conducted themselves at that particular time, Mr. Ransi. No matter what happens at the University of Zambia, no student has ever broken the properties of the University of Zambia or routine. When students are protesting, they protest to the roadside, not inside the school and destroying school properties. That can tell you, Mr. Banda, that that protest or that rioting, it wasn't a riot for the students at the University of Zambia, because the manner in which that thing was conducted, you can tell that there were people, outsiders, who were involved. You can confirm with me by the statement which was released by the police, Mr. Rea Hamonga. He stated that they have apprehended 10 students, or 10 people to say. 5 of them are students, and the other 5 are students. So these other 5, imagine these other 5, maybe they are the group. Let's say, for argument's sake, maybe they came or 30-30 or 50-50. So those people had to impose what was happening at the University of Zambia. So the behavior which was experienced on Monday, it wasn't the behavior of the students at the University of Zambia alone, but there were some outsiders who came in and took advantage of the situation.
Now, Comrade Chabu, are you trying to tell us that the students at UNZA have created a pattern on how to protest or maybe how to riot. Don't you think sometimes there's always a first time for everything? Must they always go to the roadside, especially that this is an in-house thing? Why should they go to the roadside when this involves UNZA only and not the roadside?
Okay, so what I should indicate is that we have a proper channel of communicating our students. One of the channels that we have is the Unzasu Union. Through the able leadership of Chandra Chongo Soweto, who is the Unzasu president, when we students are faced with a problem or a challenge, we need to engage the Unzasu president. Not only that, we also have the Dean of Students Office. The Dean of Students Office is open for each and every student who has got grievances or complaints to go there and have a dialogue with the Dean of Students. As if that is not enough, Mr. Ranso, we also have the Office of the Vice Chancellor. The Office of the Vice Chancellor is also open. You can write an appointment to have a dialogue with these officials. And if we look at in the Unzasu Constitution or Unzasu Union, it is an act of parliament. Each student has got the right to visit the Ministry of Higher Education to have a dialogue if we are facing challenges as University of Zambia students. So these are channels that students have to use. Remember, this school is governed by rules and regulations. It is not every problem or every challenge that you face which can be resolved by throwing stones. No. There are some challenges like this one. This was a simple challenge whereby you have to dialogue. Even if students were to protest, protest is allowed but in a peaceful manner, whereby you go as a team. Maybe you go to see the dean, or you go to see the vice chancellor, or you go and seek an address from your from your president, who is the Unzasu president. Tell us what is happening about these elections. Then you allow them to address you. If you know, if you can recall, Mr. Ransi, that thing happened in the night. People started burning tires. They started looting the shops. Not only that, they started breaking cars. That approach is outdated. No matter how hard you can try to justify that, that one is outdated. Because as students of the University of Zambia, we fear to break the law, because when we break the law, there will be no law to protect us. Coming on the issue to say that you have the culture on how students are supposed to protest, I will take you back, Mr. Ransi. In 2020, 2021, students protested over poor sanitation at the University of Zambia. We never saw any car being broken. We never saw any shop being looted. We never saw burning of tires. The student marched to the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Why? Because they realize that that is where their challenges can be what? Can be resolved. The issue of elections, if they dialogued, if students at the University of Zambia dialogued with everyone, the Ministry of Education is free to go there. Students could have marched to the Ministry of Education without breaching the law or any form of violence. They go to the minister. Minister, this is what is happening at our institution. What can we do? Rather than breaking everything, you can tell from how things are right now, even network is tripping. We don't have where to buy radish now. We don't have where to buy tomatoes now. We don't have where to buy bread now. If you are hungry, you have to walk 30 minutes to Kalingalinga to go and buy that. What has caused that? Because of ignorance and lawlessness by us, the students.
Okay, it appears Lance has gone on mute. Maybe I can take it up. First of all, as my sincere apologies for actually joining late. Good evening, and it's good to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Okay, so considering that the repercussions are so well known as regards what the students have done, and we have also seen what has happened to the Copper Belt University students that were made to pay some kind of a penalty, and some of them were actually suspended and also expelled. What really propelled this protest at UNZA?
Okay, first of all, Mr. Chaza, we need to understand that there is a proper communication which students usually use whenever they are faced with a challenge. One of the communication is through Unzasu, the Dean of Students, and the VC's office or the office of the registrar. These are channels which students get information from. So, what brought about this riot or this protest? It was because of misinformation from different stakeholders or different bodies. There was a memo which was published on Monday around 1617 concerning the cancellation of elections, Unzasu elections, 2023 Unzasu elections. That memo, facts are facts. That memo didn't have a date stamp from the dean. The memo didn't have the date stamp from anybody of the school. And the memo didn't have any signature from anybody or any channel we used to communicate from the school. The memo came direct from the Electoral Commission and it started circulating on different media platforms. That tempted the students to start what they started. But we should know that when something like that is happening, there are some outsiders who take advantage of that. And according to what we saw, and according to what we saw on videos and heard, you can tell that the number of people who were protesting, you can even count from the videos that this 1, 2, 3, maybe 500. It can't represent the number of students at the University of Zambia because approximately we are 30,000 students at the University of Zambia and only few were protesting. That can tell us to say there were some outsiders who came in to come and cause this havoc. Not only that, Mr. Chanza, the mode or the formula they used in protesting, it was outdated. In the history of protest at the University of Zambia, we have never experienced such, whereby students start rooting the shops, breaking the TVs. Today, Manchester United is playing. No student is watching soccer because all the TVs were broken. And can you tell me that a student can love to break their properties which they bought using their own money, the 45 kwacha they pay as affiliation fee to Unzasu? This tells us that there is more to this issue. Not only that, 5 people who have been arrested are non-students. What were they doing at that particular time from 23 to 2410, according to the report which has been given by the police? What were they doing at Unza? Looking at the weapons they were using, Mr. Chanza, they were using pangas and axos. You can see how they were cutting on. I think you have watched on ZNBC TV how they were cutting doors. You can see that this thing, it is out of Unza now. Like people came in, outsiders, and had to impose this protest at the University of Zambia.
So then, what should be done as a deterrent, to such conduct? Just like I earlier indicated, at CBU, we take a leaf from there. Others were suspended, expelled, and so on and so forth. And everyone was actually made to pay this penalty fee. What do you think should be done? Should what happened to Copper Belt University students happen to UNZA also?
One thing we should know, Mr. Chanza, is that UNZA is run by rules and regulations. We have what we call a yellow book. A yellow book has got like 65 rules and regulations which each student should follow. Failure to that, there are certain penalties which are faced there. For example, according to the yellow book, chapter 57, or I say article 57, it states that inciting riots which leads to breaking the properties or damaging the properties of the university, penalty which will be given to the students which will be found wanting will be expulsion. So that rule is a rule which have been there for a long period of time. If you are found wanting, the law shall take its course. And to make matters worse, Mr. Chaza, we don't want innocent students to be also subjected to the punishment. CCTVs were there. Management has got the records from the CCTV. People were involved were there, and I've heard that 5 students have been arrested. So if they will be asked, what were they doing? What happened? What transpired? I think management will pick it up from there, according to the investigation which they will do between management and Zambia police. Right now, we can't say each student should be expelled or to be charged this much. No, because we don't know who was involved in the protest. We don't know if this protest was politically affiliated, was politically sponsored, or this was as a result of the memo which was published. And I should indicate, Mr. Chaza, that according to the Dean of Students, yesterday he published a memo to say elections have not been cancelled. Okay? Earlier today, the Minister of Lusaka came in school with Zambia police, the registrar was there. It is on record even on ZNBC. They have stated that elections have not been what? Cancelled. So you can see that only a memo, a mere memo, without a signature, without a date stamp, and it read to this. So you can tell that there was miscommunication between these organs. As a result, we can't say that management should charge students for now or should expel students because the issue is still being investigated. Who was involved?
Now, Comrade Chabu, let me try to, bring you back to this whole issue or this whole thing, especially pertaining to you. You have been very active, in these issues or in these matters, especially this thing to do with the Unzasu elections, probably because you have an interest, you are standing or you want to stand in a certain position on this. You've been very active before this whole saga of fracas of rioting and stuff. You visited the dean of students, you visited the current president who you are calling Soweto, you visited almost everybody or everybody in the current administration of Unzasu. And also, I think in following you, I saw what you posted, something to do with the Dean of Students assuring you to say these elections were going to only be possible if the budget of 19,000 plus kwacha was going to be met. Don't you think this is what led to the Dean of Students or the so-called purported MOU that you are claiming, because currently you can say you are claiming, which you are claiming was produced and circulated, which didn't have a stamp or anything like that. Let's talk about the budget and everything. Do you think, or according to the information that you had, was the student and commission of UNZA ready to host these exams? Not exams, sorry, these elections.
Okay, Mr. Chaza, one thing that we need to know is that the elections are budgeted for in the Unzasu budget. Every time they are budgeting for other projects, even elections are budgeted for. And I should indicate that we have like 2 accounts or 4 accounts for Unzasu. We have an account whereby the money 45 kwacha usually goes into. We also have an account where they use the money to buy buses. So when we engaged the Unzasu president, he stated clearly, and the rule is this, Mr. Chaza. This school can't live without a union. The same union which is there has to leave a union for it to live. The school can't operate without Unzasu because Unzasu is like the eye of the management. Unzasu gets down to the ground. So the budget, Mr. Lance, which the Electoral Commission submitted to the Dean, I should indicate that the Electoral Commission submitted two budgets. At first, they submitted a budget of 370,000 kwacha. After seeing that they are facing financial constraints, remember, Unza is not just the only campus we have. We also have Ridgeway campus and main campus. Yeah. So when they submitted that, looking at in the coffers the money they had, it was too little to hold elections. So what did they do? They started engaging stakeholders, the Ministry of Education and other people. Then they came into a conclusion. The Electoral Commission called us to say, we need to revisit the budget. We had a meeting as aspiring candidates. We need to revisit the budget. When they revisited the budget, they agreed to say, okay, the budget has moved from 370,000 kwacha to 90,000 kwacha. And you can see that that budget was the only budget which was made possible for elections to be held. So what happened? When we visited the Dean told us to say they are going to have a meeting. That was on a Friday with the Electoral Commission of Zambia to see, the Electoral Commission of Unza, I beg your pardon, to see how they can try to help in facilitating these elections. If either we can vote online or we can vote physical like normal elections because of financial constraints. So you can see the efforts from management that they had that thing to say elections must be held in any way possible, which will be efficient, accountable, and transparent, and free and fair to the students. We visited the Dean of Students, and the Electoral Commission, after our meeting with the Dean of Students, Electoral Commission had a meeting with the Dean of Students. We don't know what was discussed in the meeting with the Dean of Students. All we know is that there was a memo which circulated without a date stamp from the Dean of Students. So if a memo circulates without a date stamp from the Dean of Students, that memo is automatically fake according to the regulations of the university.
So now, Comrade Chabu, sorry. Now, here's what I want to understand. So if you noticed that that memo, or if the students noticed that that memo which was shared without date stamp and signature from the Dean of Students, why is it that students decided to take it on the road or on the street? And as you are claiming to say, some other people might have come in, maybe politically motivated or stuff like that. Why is it that there is also other people? In fact, the police has said they've arrested students. So if the students knew that that MOU or that memo which was circulated was fake, why did they take it to the street?
Okay, Mr. Chaza, we need to know that Unza has got a population of 30,000 students. If we look at people who were rioting or people protested, they are less than 500. That is a very small number, which cannot even represent Unza students. And if you look at the damage which has been done to the institution, that is not the behavior of intellectuals or the students from the University of Zambia. So you can tell that even that memo up to now, we don't know what will happen to it. We don't have any information about it. Who knows, maybe that memo didn't come maybe from the Electoral Commission of Unza. And we know how Zambia is. Zambia is a champion on media. Once you mess up something on media, it will go in 5 seconds. It has reached everyone. And you know, students are influenced by, I would say, something like that can influence students. No, there will be no election, there will be no election. What are we going to do? Tires, they start burning. They start breaking the roads. So you can tell that even the number of people protested, it can't represent the students from the University of Zambia. And some people were just following because there is noise, they were just following. At the end, they ended up arresting them. You know, when there is noise at the University of Zambia, Abanda. You just hear noise or maybe Kawalala whatsoever. You run there, you go there, you don't know what is happening. What is happening? Oh, why are they doing this? Oh, because of this. They arrest you. Will you tell me that those students were protesting? No, some were just watching. Bemba say Kabwara ni Pakuboko. If those students were caught, they had some forms of um, materials or some forms of weapons. They were in a protest attire and all that. Then we can say that, say, students also were involved in this big time. But as far as we are concerned, Mr. Banda, this protest is beyond the expectations of the students, the expectations of management, and the expectations of the country at large, because UNZA represents Zambia, because UNZA is the only university in the country which represents the entire country and the 60th best university in Zambia. And that behavior was outdated and it shouldn't be condoned and supported in any way.
Now, Comrade Chabu, here let's try to make our viewer understand or maybe know certain things that which they might be or which they may be missing here. UNZA students, quite all right, they are known for rioting whenever they are not happy with either a certain government decision or Unzasu decision. This is not the first time that students have rioted against non-holding of elections. And elections, this is internal. It doesn't involve government. It doesn't involve members of the community or society. This is just simply the students' union or the students' community trying to elect leaders so that they can have a certain representation for something or somewhere there. Are you not denying your own people when you are saying that this is not the behavior of UNZA students, or when you say, all right, seems like we have lost our guest right there. Obviously, this is due to network issues. Chaza, good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. Doing pretty fine. How are you doing?
Well, not bad. I think I also want to protest just like network is protesting at UNZA.
What is the protest all about?
I want to protest the fact that you and I haven't met in a long time.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be a good thing for you to protest at the time that I am here. The protest would be fitting at the time that I am probably not there, or you are not there. Then I would protest.
All right, Comrade Chabu is back. Comrade, welcome back. So I was saying, this is not the first time that students take the road when they are not happy with a decision that Zanasu has made or is making. What makes it different that this time around, you people that are in forefront are trying to put the blame on saying either this is a politically inclined protest or riot because maybe somebody from the political sphere might have sponsored it. Of course, we saw this also happening, if not in 20,000, it was in 2001 when then such a protest happened and somebody there mentioned to say this was organized by the opposition. Also, you are denying that these are not students that protested. Are you not denying your own people? And you are seeking public office to represent them.
We live by rules and regulations. Even in Zambia, there are rules and regulations. The president, Hakainde Hichilema, stated clearly when he was chasing cadres from the streets, he stated clearly to say, whenever you are found wanting, you are on your own. If I am in leadership, I can't be protecting people who are doing that. Nisha, I'm a wrong leader. I have failed as a leader. One thing is to sensitize the students. Right now, every student at the University of Zambia is suffering where to buy where to buy goods and services. Computers were looted, goods were looted. Where are they going to buy? So at the expense of few individuals, we shouldn't let people suffer. Like I stated earlier, if there were 200 who were protesting, other students, should the 29,800 suffer because of 200 students? That is a no. If you are found wanting, you have to be dealt with according to the laws and regulations. So we are not denying our people. I am vying for a position. I am not denying my people. But what we are saying is the manner which they use to protest. You can agree with me, even if students protest, it didn't used to reach to the extent which it reached this time around, whereby even mayor shops, whereby you can just find maybe bubblegum sweets, they were rooted. So we can't be protecting such. We are destroying the institution. UNZA is known for its excellency in producing good graduates and good people. Even if you are saying that UNZA is known for rioting, but not rooting. Rioting, they riot, but they didn't use to root. You can agree with me, Mr. Chanza and Mr. Banda. Rioting, UNZA students riot, but rooting, breaking TVs, their own TVs, that one I can disagree. This is the first time in the history of UNZA it is happening.
All right. I don't know if Chaza, you'd love to come in.
Yes, mine is, embedded on the preventive measures, as regards, riotous behavior. I want to find out when this riot was actually, happening. How was the experience like, in terms of the response from the police to actually ensure that, the riot could be kept?
Okay. First of all, when we like for us, we were not even around. We were at the Prime TV station there. So when we saw the memo, we didn't even know what was happening in school. When we came in, we found that people have started burning tires and all that. And we appreciate Zambia police because it could have gone to an extent that even East Park could have been in trouble as we are talking now. But Zambia police acted so fast. I think in a space of 20 minutes or so, Zambia police came in and they managed to calm the situation, to make the situation normalized, whereby students were chased from the roadside to come back in campus. And they started now arresting students who were found wanting and who were on the scene. So Zambia police acted really, really fast with the help of Unza Brown, which is Unza Security, the security wing we have. Even the union members, they also came in, and other students to help and end the situation.
It's a good thing to hear about the police's response. Maybe let me just throw it back to Lance before I come in.
All right. Thank you so much, Chaza. And of course, to you, our dear viewer, we have shared with you the studio link. If you would like to come in and express your concern, or probably you are a student out there that you would want to express displeasure, or maybe express yourself on what happened on Monday night. You are, that motorist. I think from watching the video, I saw a certain motor vehicle being stoned. If you are that motorist that was affected, you are a resident of that area that was affected, and you would love to come and express your displeasure. This is the platform that we have brought for you, and would love to hear from you. It would be great to at least have first-hand information as we are interacting with Comrade Chabu, who is a students' rights activist. Due to the fact that he has been advocating for different things for the students, not only at the University of Zambia, but he has gone miles as far as even the Copperbelt University, Mumbushi University, and everything to do with that. So, of course, we have shared that link. Come through. If you cannot be able to join us into the studio, hey, you can still leave a comment underneath this broadcast. Let's get to hear from you. Let's have this particular interaction right here as we are discussing the Unzasu failed elections or cancelled elections. So now, Comrade Chabu, I think I got the Dean of Students saying that they didn't issue out any memo to say elections have been cancelled. Perhaps bring us to speed, since that memo was a hoax, it was a scam, it was not there. What is the way forward for the Unzasu elections?
Okay, the fact and the truth of the matter is that elections, Uzasu elections, are going to be held on a date which is going to be announced soon. And the Dean of Students yesterday published a memo concerning Unzasu elections, that Unzasu elections haven't been cancelled. You know, to run an election, you need to put everything in order. And we can't, Unza can't live without a union, because there are a lot of challenges which students face. And they can't be going to management every time they go to management as students. There will be a lot of havoc that side. So as it stands now, what we have on the ground is elections are going to be there on the day which is not yet known, but I believe as soon as possible this month, elections are going to be held. And after the dean published that memo, I think the situation is calm. Every student is now okay, although the situation is not stabilized, that by the living, you know, you can be seeing police officers moving up and down, and it is causing fear to some students, and also some are not studying properly. And our lessons were disturbed a little bit when this happened, but as of now, everyone is learning and everything is okay, and we hope for the best.
All right. Obviously, I have a follow-up question on the police, but maybe before I come to that, I still want to understand the elections for Unzasu. So, since there was a fake memo, as you are putting it, that was circulated to say elections have been cancelled. Before that fake memo that you are claiming, what was the date for the Unzasu elections? Was it put through? Comrade Chabu. Comrade Chabu, are you able to hear me?
Are you able to get,
All right,
are
now
you
I
able to
can
get
hear
me?
you. Yes, I can get you. Can you get me?
Yeah, what was your question?
All right, so my question was before, all right, seems like we are still having some internet challenges for our guest. But hey, we are in the dying moments of the program or of the show, and like we've said, we've shared with you the studio link. It would be nice to have you come through into the studio and just get to hear your say or your perspective on what we are discussing here. Of course, talking about the failed or cancelled Unzasu elections right here, which probably led to the riotous behavior of the students on Monday. But Comrade Chabu, who is a student rights activist, is telling us otherwise right here, because hey, he is on the ground. He's a student at the University of Zambia, though when the riot was starting, he was somewhere else. He wasn't on the ground, but we're still getting information from him. He is vying for a position in the Unzasu elections. So probably he has information which we might not know, and this is what we try to do right here on Ubuntu channel. Now, Chaza, as we're trying to, get or have Comrade Chabu back, obviously, let's talk about our experience. You and me have been students before. I don't trust you. I'm sure you were the leader when it comes to riots.
I don't know if it's just the fear of the unknown or fear of being implicated and so on. I think I could not actively, participate in riots. And I remember during my time, we could fall victim. The police would come and tear gas the whole area, and it wouldn't choose who is participating and who is not. And definitely, we were suffering together with those that were actively participating. And I remember just after, leaving, some of the students that were participating actively, got expelled and some suspended and so on and so forth. So for some of us that, we're coming from a very humble background, we were actually, so afraid of, suffering such repercussions, and we could, confine ourselves when such was happening. And fortunately, we did not suffer, suspension, let alone, expulsion.
All right, pretty interesting. Comrade Chabu, good to have you back. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Mr. Rans, I'm able to get you.
Okay, great. Because my question, this question is of great importance. So before the so-called fake memo was distributed or stuck on the notice board, what was the date which was set by Zanasu as an election date?
Okay. So first of all, I want to correct it to say that memo which was published wasn't fake or true, because the investigation are still going on as what led to the publication of that memo. But that memo was published, according to the memo itself, it didn't have the signature or the date stamp of the dean, which simply means that the dean didn't authorize that memo to be published. So according to that memo, the memo was just like the elections have been cancelled due to financial constraints, and there were no dates. The date which was there was that particular day, which was a Monday. I think that was on the 17th or 18th. That was the only date which was there. But the date for elections, it wasn't there. The signature from the dean, it wasn't there. And the date stamp from the dean wasn't there.
Now, Comrade Chabu, I think I only came to know of the budget of hosting or holding elections at Unzasu through you. Could it be that somehow, somewhere, your deliberations with the dean of students and that disclosure which you made to say the dean has said until when the budget is met, that's when elections will be held, is what led maybe to the forced publication of this memo?
Okay, so the way it is we communicate through different channels, like I stated earlier, to say we have electoral commission who are entitled to hold these elections. So before even when we share something as aspiring candidates or as students, we first get information from either of the bodies. You get from electoral commission, you also get from the dean of students, you get from management, you get from Unzasu. That memo which was published, or the disclosure of everything, we earlier had a meeting with the electoral commission and aspiring candidates. They talked to us about what is delaying the electoral process, and that was financial constraints. So before it came to public domain, we had to sit with the electoral commission as a team of aspiring candidates. We had a chat together with Unzasu president. We once had a conversation with Unzasu president concerning the predicament of financial challenges. So that information which we share as students, it is the information that we get from these bodies, then we share it as students.
All right. Chaza, you have anything?
Yes, indeed. On the same communication, do you think your communication has been effective enough? Because I remember, the time, despite that time, social media was not as rampant as it is today. But during our time, whenever there's a contentious issue, they would actually call us to the main hall, student hall, and be addressed. How effective are these, communication channels that you are using?
Okay, so we have got a page. We have got Unzasu page where things are posted when there is a memo, a news, everything will be posted on that Unzasu Facebook page. Or they will usually hold a press briefing to address students about the ongoing of issues at the University of Zambia. So the communication we have is quite okay. The only thing that went wrong is miscommunication or the statement which they used in that memo to say elections have been cancelled, which led to angering students, and also other external forces came in and did what they did.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry, I throw it back to you.
All right. Thank you. Maybe lastly, I don't know, our producer hasn't signaled yet how many minutes, how many more minutes we still have, but maybe what I can call lastly, uh, Comrade Chabu, you are vying, for leadership
I can't
in
get you,
the.
Mr. Banda.
You can get me? Can you get me now?
It appears he's not
Mr.
getting
Chaza,
you.
are you able?
Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you, Mr. Chaza.
Are you getting me? Are you
Okay.
getting me?
How about me? Okay. How about me? Are you able to hear me now?
Yes,
Mr.
I'm able
Chabu,
to hear you now.
okay.
Okay, great. So since you're able to hear me now, since you are now vying for leadership in Zanasu, what do you hope to do different, especially to avoid students going on a riotous behavior when they do not like a certain element, either from the government or from Zanasu itself?
Okay, thank you very much for that important question. One thing that we should know is that students are the stakeholders of Unzasu. Students are the stakeholders of the University of Zambia. And students are also part of the decision making at the University of Zambia. So anything that you do, you must make sure that you communicate with students and everything that they face. Not only that, to avoid this rioting behavior, we need to be communicating to our student when there is something that is really important, even every day. If it means communicating every hour, we are going to do that. If it means communicating with them the whole day, we need to do that, because the issue of election, it is a very, very big issue to the students, to management, and to the country at large. So, to avoid the behavior of students rioting and breaking other things, routine, we need to put effective communication and also making decision in a faster way, because these elections were supposed to be held on the 29th of September. I think we are remaining with the 8 days. Students, they didn't know what is going to happen. So to avoid such, we need to be communicating with students each and every day, and we need to show that we care for them, and everything that they are going through as leaders, we are with them, and they trust us that the challenges that they face, solutions are in us. So students have to be given hope. When you are leading people, you have to give them hope. You have to tell them that no, solutions must be found somewhere.
Hmm. All right. Pretty interesting. And well, I still have
Yeah,
many things.
or maybe Lance, just before you bring in that one, I would like to appeal to Chabu and all those that are vying positions in the students' union, that as incumbents and so on and so forth, you have this responsibility to ensure that you disseminate this, information as regards, the repercussions of riotous behavior. And remember that even those that do not even realize the repercussions, when they are caught up in such behavior, they will definitely be found in the punitive actions that are supposed to be administered to them. So there's a legal maxim which says ignorantia juris non excusat. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse at all. So, as members of the public would like to see that the culprits, are actually brought to book. If they are found in riotous behavior, they must pay. Where there's an action, there must be a reaction tantamount to that action. Over to you, Lance.
Speaking as a victim. Well, talk to us that started these things and loved them. Anyway, that's
we are victims. We are members of the society, and we don't want to see such behavior, from students. And as students, remember that they are the leaders tomorrow. Just like Chabu and the others are, contesting, in the elections. These is actually the future politicians. When you get to read or find out about politicians today, it all started, from secondary school, colleges, and universities. So we want responsible people in society.
True. Well, Comrade Chabu, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, this is what we had to accommodate. I still had so many things to talk about, but hey, internet did us a little bit of justice. Also protesting, just like you protested on Monday, it was also protesting and rioting. You students, you damaged vehicles, internet has damaged time that we were supposed to have. So it's one back where everyone is equal to the task. So we would really have loved to go on with you, but we still appreciate your time with us. We will always call on you whenever we want an update from students as well as the higher learning institution right here on Ubuntu channel, and just get to engage you so that we get the quality and first-hand information. Yeah, and of course, Chaza, as usual, in an unceremonial welcoming or welcome back, you had to welcome yourself on the show, as I had to attend to an emergency that came through. But hey, it is what it is, and this is what live TV is all about. Things happen, and all of a sudden, you just have to make things happen. To you, our producer Emmanuel, we thank you so much. To you, everybody that has been watching, our viewers on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitter, we say thank you. Today, we've been hosting Comrade Chabu, who is a students' rights activist, and we were discussing Unzasu elections cancellation. We wanted to know, were the elections cancelled? If they were, why were they cancelled? And also, we wanted to understand why the students took to the street when, if my memory serves me right, back in 2021, the students and the police agreed that if students want to riot, they will riot right in their premises, and the police will hold guard right outside their premises so that they do not break anything. But hey, there's always a time that somebody goes unruly and break the promise, but it is what it is. I've been your host, Lance Sanibanda, and saying until we come back again next Wednesday with another exciting guest, we say have a pleasant evening and continue enjoying watching Ubuntu channel. Bye-bye from us.